Hey guys, it's David. Real quick before we jump into today's episode, I just wanted to give you guys all a little heads up. We are going to be moving to a bi-weekly publishing of episodes temporarily. This is only a temporary thing. I don't know if you've noticed over the last few episodes, but it's been hard to get all three of us in a room right now. We are all working on our own little projects and whatnot. We want to make sure that we're continuing to get you guys the best episodes. So we're still trying to record as frequently as possible, but we're only going to be publishing episodes every other week to make sure that we continue to A, provide for you guys great quality content, and B, to give us a little bit of breathing room so we have a little bit of a backlog just to make sure that everything's good, everything's happy, and if anything does come up where there's a big emergency, we can still continue to get you guys great shows. Thank you so much for understanding. I love ya! Now back to the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Cosplay Stitch and Seam. I'm, Vfire.
And I'm Vfire. Happy April Fools!
April Fools!
April Fools, everyone. Hi, how are you? Hi, Vfire.
Hi, Vfire.
Oh, wow, weird. That name comes with, like, so much weight. Ooh, I love this. Ooh. Be careful, Vfire. I might be coming for this name.
Uh-oh. That's weird. I'm like talking to myself.
Yeah, I know. You know, hey, we gotta talk. You look at that mirror for an awfully long time. You don't say anything, you don't do anything, you just stare dead-eyed into that mirror. I'm concerned about you, Vfire.
Just contemplating the cosmos there.
Yes, Welcome, everyone. Pannon was not feeling well, so she will not be joining us this episode. We wish her nothing but the best of a speedy recovery, because migraines suck.
They're the butt of the head.
The butt of the head. The butt of the head. Eloquent words from us, Vfires.
Yes. Anyways, get ready for another ADHD-filled episode.
Pannon really is the glue to the show.
Yes.
Like, she's got so much just like professionalism and experience and knowledge, and like she pulls us together so well. Anyways, let's jump back into it.
And she's so like pro at like getting that like transition in there. Meanwhile, like you and I are just like, and this,
and why this? Oh, did you hear about this? What a mistake it was for us to continue doing this without Pannon.
Yeah, we could do this.
Yeah. So, who is the glue in your group? Where can they tell us who the glue in their group is, Vfire?
You can email us at cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com or go to the website cosplaystitchandseam.com and fill out the forms there, or
go to the Vfire book page.
Everything's Vfire now. Oh my gosh, everything's on fire.
Very fire. What color is vermilion?
It's a reddish pink.
It's a reddish pink? Okay, all right. Yeah. As a colorblind person, I legitimately have no idea what color that is. I understand what red is in like a concept, but like it's not one of those things that I have like firm connection to.
It's the red rocks of our state.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Faye said, pretending to know what you mean. So go to the Facebook page, join our fantastic group, be Vfire for a day. In fact, I for today only, and I'm sorry that you are all missing the notice. On April 1st, you are now Vfire. Congratulations. Let us know your Vfire shenanigans, or you can go to our Discord group, where I have temporarily nicknamed everybody Vfire for the day.
Can we do that?
I think I can, actually. I'm very curious. I'll do that during a little bit more of a ramble, but while you're on the internet, if you want to help out the Vfire show, go on the internet and leave a review on any podcasting app that lets you share the podcast with a friend. Those are quick, easy ways to help out the show. And of course, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/cosplay stitch. $3 a month gets you a shout out on the show every single month. Every single episode, Lord.
We're doing great.
And for $5, $5, you can join our
Cosplay Chronicles.
all the Vfires play D&D, and we have a fantastic time. It's all cosplay themed. It's all Vfire themed, and we just have a swell time doing it. And it's just great to hang out with your friends and tell silly stories with each other. That's my spiel. What's your spiel? What's next?
I don't remember. I think we start the episode now.
Oh no, Bannon, we miss you so much. Come back.
Bannon.
So what are we talking about today, Vfire?
We are going to be nerds and talk about video game cosplays. So, like, making cosplays, coming up with skit ideas based from video game characters that are, doing weird stuff in the game, and you're like, how does that work in reality?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How do I double jump? That's my first question. That's the one thing that I adamantly like. If I could get double jump in real life, I'd be so happy. Fast travel would be great, yes. To locations that you have previously been. Ooh, that would be so helpful. But double jump has always been one of the things that I've wanted most.
Okay. Ideas.
Okay.
The big one is if you had all the money in the world.
Yep.
You'd have a harness and just double jump.
Uh-huh.
Or a jetpack.
Ooh, jetpack.
Yeah. But a harness would be probably more allowed than a jetpack on a stage.
Carrying giant swords wherever you go.
Ooh.
That's also another feature that'd be really nice. Whether you use them or not, just having a giant sword on your back. Because Cloud, he gets through all these different places, and they're like, yeah, that man's got a sword that's taller than he is. Like, not gonna question this.
No? Come back to that one. Hang on. The realistic version for a double jump.
Okay.
Is black, probably very solid wooden boxes that have support in them that you can jump on.
Ooh.
And then they'll be black so they blend with the background, and then you got a double jump.
So like an apple box.
An apple box.
So in like filming and whatnot, if you need two actors at like different eye lines, so Tom Cruise being famously 5'7", who that's taller than I am, so I don't know why everybody's like, short king. Whenever he's acting and he needs to have like equal stare, like they can look eye to eye to each other, they put him on an apple box, and they're just a series of boxes that range from height that were originally there to hold apples, and they help you maintain like different heights, or like maybe you want like a different composition so they look taller in the foreground or the background. Yeah, apple boxes. You get a black apple box, you jump on that and jump again, or like 1 foot on, like jump on with 1 foot and then like leap in one fluid motion. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Boom.
Double jump. I didn't know that those had a name. When you said apple box, my mind immediately went to like the box my iPad came in. I was like, don't jump on that. That'll break.
I'm now concerned that no, they're apple boxes. Okay, cool. I just Googled them. You can buy a set of them for $150 on Amazon. Thanks, Bezos.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so let's talk like skits. What, to you as a judge, would be a good video game skit?
Ooh, I personally always love seeing like something from the game movement, characterization that's brought into reality. And this can, like I say that, this can be done a couple of different ways. There's one where like a certain movement and whatnot feels like it can only exist in game, and they recreate it in reality. There was 1 year where like I saw this like Hollow Knight cosplayer, not yours, David, but you did good on yours too. Yours was awesome too. But there was one where like they created this cape for Hornet, and as they moved around the stage, it actually like really brought back that feeling of this is Hornet. Just the way the cape like fluttered and everything, I was like, that was so awesome. And so like seeing that movement come to life is really great. But also like taken in a comedic way for some as well, where it's like, you know, you get the Grand Theft Auto walk.
That like almost walking in place animation.
Yeah. Or it's just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Playing on the video games like absurdity
Mhm.
is also a lot of fun. So those are two things that I usually watch for in a skit, is like those. But if you're focusing more on like story, then that comes back down to like, you know, what we've talked about in the past of like storytelling on stage and things like that.
Yeah. I think for me, it kind of comes down to what is going to evoke those same feelings, kind of like you said with the Hornet, like the movements, the cape
Yeah.
billowing, all that stuff. How do they, as a one-time judge, how do they incorporate the same experience? And oftentimes for me, it's like music and sound keys. That's why when I did my Hollow Knight, like I made sure I downloaded the sound effects from the game itself, so I could then implement those as cleanly as possible. And like when you're playing a game about bugs, you really have a harder time picturing yourself in that.
I am a bug.
I am a bug. I
I
am
am a bug.
just the cutest of bugs. They're just cute little guys. Vfire. I don't know what to tell you, man. They're just adorable.
Yeah, I don't know. Those Manus Lords are pain in the butt.
Oh my gosh, the Mantis Lords. Oh,
That's where I'm at in the game now.
you're playing it? Like, this is legit news to me. You're playing it?
Oh, you didn't know I was playing it?
No!
I started it a while ago, actually, and then I couldn't find the Manus Lords, and then I went through my move and forgot.
You know what? That's fair. It is a very daunting experience, but I will say
Mhm.
for me personally, the Mantis Lords is when I was like, oh, I get the gameplay now. Like, I understood how to make it all work, you know?
That's what I've been told, and so that's what I'm aiming for.
Mhm.
I'm very excited. But yeah, my students have been shaming me that I haven't found the Manus Lords. Apparently, I was like, "What switch?" I found it. I was
Oh,
stupid.
good.
I found
good.
it.
To be fair, the first time that I played it, I did not find the Mantis Lords either. I turned tail before I got to that fight. But this could easily turn into another Hollow Knight lore episode. We don't need to do that. We already did one of those. Okay. So what I like is I like seeing aspects of the game that I know probably couldn't be recreated on stage, like the double jump or having those moments of like, oh man, like I remember when I found that secret chamber and having that sound cue of like, oh, you found the thing that was really hard to find. Like that is such a rewarding treat to like, and it's designed to be that way. And you as a game designer know that like the importance of like a rewarding sound or something to confirm that you have done a good job. So to
Yes.
bring that back into the skit, will release all of the dopamine to everybody who's played that game of like, oh, I did the thing. And that kind of like brings them in with the reward portion of the gaming experience.
Yeah, anytime you add that like treasure chest Zelda da 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 da, you get the audience just going nuts.
Yeah. I think for me, one of the things that I really love in a skit is kind of that like familiarity as well. Which is kind of all what we've been talking about. But
Mhm.
that moment that you've been doing over and over again, especially like in games like Hollow Knight or Dark Souls. I'm playing another Metroidvania right now called The Last Faith, which just came out not too long ago. And it's very much like Castlevania meets Bloodborne. Absolutely amazing designs. I love it so much. But like when you kind of hit your head against that brick wall for a while in a video game, where you're just like trying and trying and trying, and then finally when you get it, there's that victory. And if you can
Mhm.
like convey that effort, it's so freaking rewarding for you as the participant as well as the audience.
And that's such a big thing with games, is like that theme around failing over and over and over again, and then you get it and you're like, yeah,
Yes.
oh, I did it.
Yeah, I did it. I didn't need anybody's help. And like games don't have cheat codes nowadays, right? So like you don't get that same like easy way past it sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good feels.
Yeah. You know what you should do? next time you're doing a video game character, do you remember how video games used to come with like a little booklet for the car ride home?
Oh, yes.
I think you should do a little booklet like that for your documentation to hand to the judges during judging.
Oh, shoot. That would be cute.
Isn't that a great idea? I just right off the top of my dome. There you go. That one's for all you guys. That's for you, Vfire. Just
For
enjoy.
you, Vfire?
Thank you, Vfire. So
that's a great idea. Oh my gosh. You could do like a little like inventory menu and
the lore, just that first page
Oh.
lore of the build or something like that. Ooh,
Yes.
I love this idea.
Oh.
What are like some key aspects as a judge that make a good video game cosplay? Like, I know that there's always going to be like different techniques and different sewing and different ways to do the thing. I just watched Punish Props do a whole video on foam wigs, which was an amazing video to watch. Absolutely entertaining. But like, what is it that like when you're seeing a video game cosplay, what's like the thing that's like, okay, this is the thing that they've got to hit?
See, it really depends on like what the approach of the cosplayer is.
Okay.
So like 90% of my video game cosplays I approach with how can I make this feel like it walked out of the game and into reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking for, function and, having it feel like actual clothing rather than a costume and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you can take the approach of going very literal with it and just having just really clean craftsmanship coming on top of that and doing like polygon Final Fantasy VII Cloud.
Yeah, like big old blocks for like hair and whatnot. Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, but the thing that makes them stand out the most is when they put a little bit of themselves into it, or a little bit more thought into the character, where it's like, this character has these emotions and feels about it, so I chose to take this approach with it. So I'm gonna geek out on Shadow of the Colossus because I love that game so much.
This is new information. I've never heard you talk about this before.
So I've made that cosplay twice. I refer to them as my PlayStation 2 version, my PlayStation 3 version, and eventually I'll do the PS4 version. The first time was just like, that was the first time I ever won anything and was given that it felt like a clothing item rather than a costume. So the next time that I made it, I went all in. I was like, I want this to be perfect. And it definitely wasn't, which is why I'm going to probably make it again. But I went through and was like, this needs to feel so much more handmade and worn and like it's been through stuff. And I actually like did all this hand stitching for the runes, and I like looked up in the game because like you can't really see them. The PlayStation 4 version has a lot higher detail, but the 2 and 3 version, it wasn't like super clear what you could see on the tunic. And so I pulled runes from the game that I could find and just like sewed those in, and there's no translation for them.
Naturally. Why would it be so easy?
I know, right? If there was, I would have put like I would have taken as like, maybe these are like prayers that they stitch into their clothing for protection. Just trying to think of like, what could this be on his tunic? And I've done that before with like other costumes, like Sheik, for example, from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. The leather armor has Hylian script on it, and I actually wrote, because it's Smash Bros. I wrote, Zelda rules, Ganon sucks.
in the Hylian script, that's awesome.
in the Hylian script, and then like in other places it says, "This is my armor, deal with it." But that's it's like it's the same like idea, but like different approach because like Smash Bros is a lot more like I'm gonna fight you. But so it doesn't have to be as like in depth as like my Wanderer cosplay or how I would want it to be if I ever knew what those runes meant. But yeah, you get the idea. That little bit of like, I like embroidery. I like small details like that, and it adds a little bit more personality to the cosplay that makes it mine.
Yeah.
Rather than just another recreation out there.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I think one of the aspects that I really liked about my Hollow Knight cosplay is it wasn't solely just based on the video game. It was based off of fan art. And I got permission from the artist of like, hey, can I do a cosplay of this? And they were like, yeah, it's fine by me. And I even made sure to put that in my documentation because I was like, I promise I'm not stealing your creative ideas. But like to have that moment of like, as you said, something that makes it mine or my interpretation of it really helps sell that kind of like desire and passion that someone might have for any cosplay of just like, I'm reminded of Jihatsu. He was a previous interviewer on the show, and he does all these characters. And whenever he does a character, he tries to incorporate some sort of African design into the cosplay. So it's just one more thing of this is who I am, and I want to bring that into these characters. Which for a plethora of reasons, I am a huge fan of just that concept in general of just like, hey, there's a lot of white characters out there. We could probably use a few more people of color in video games. And like having some sort of cultural representation as well is just huge. And I love that. And it would be hard for me if I were a judge in a contest of not going, yep, this guy gets it. Because that's so cool to have this idea of, no, I'm bringing myself and my culture and my history into this craft.
And not just into the craft, it's into the character that you so love and relate with, and it makes it so much more personal rather than just a recreation on stage, which like recreating stuff is great. Like that's how I started in cosplay. Was this is a character, I love them, I'm making them. And that's where it begins. And then if you want to have it grow and go into the next level, start adding in those things that like make it real for you. Whether it's adding in cultural, things that mean something to you personally, or looking at delving in through hours and hours of lore trying to find the freaking translation to these runes, which there is not. If anyone does know, send it my way, please.
I'd be surprised if somebody does turn that up, because like that seems like such the way that Shadow of the Colossus is designed is just, it's 100% a mystery.
Yeah.
And so like the idea is that you don't know, and that's the key of it all, right? But anyways, continue on.
Oh yeah. Small rant.
Small.
So I made my second version, my PS3 version, right before the PS4 version came out.
Yeah.
And I was working on my sword, and at that time, the only reference you can get of the ancient blade in game was still very blurry and just shadows and light. And so I was like, oh, here's my interpretation of it. So I made it look like it was made of ancient materials because it's called the ancient blade. I had it scratched all up down the side of it because it's stabbing mountains. Stuck runes and stuff on it. And then the PS4 version came out.
And then the PS4 version comes out and undoes a lot of the work that you had done yourself.
I was like, I like mine better. But also it's very pretty, and it's super machined looking. Like, oh my gosh. I was like, who decided this?
In the words of my partner, rude. It's
still really pretty though, and so I want to have that version as well.
Definitely. In the like at what point does it become like this is unreasonable? Because we were talking before we hit record of like Aloy clipping through her bow as she runs, like her run animation, and her elbow like kind of just kicks through her spear. So it kind of like fades through, like it's an intangible object. What I mean by when I say clipping through. For some of you not gaming nerds out there, so like
Just looks like it just passes through her.
one of the thing, like another kind of like aspect of this is in The Last Faith, the character design for the main character is kind of lame. Like everything else is really cool, but have you ever seen like when you go to church and there's that 12-year-old boy who's just bored out of his mind and he brings his collared button-down shirt like up to his nose? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's kind of the design of this character. Is he's got a collared shirt buttoned up all the way to his nose, and
Why?
you're just kind of like, why? What is this? What's the point of this design? So at what point do you're like, okay, this is just not in any sense or form realism? I'm looking at you, other Honkai Star Rail character designs. Like none of those look real. So how do you like determine like, okay, this isn't real, so do I just kind of go with it and get as close to it as I can, or do I try and make something that makes it real? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's where you've got to decide what you want to do with it. And then just try it. So, like, you can be like, oh, this is, like, not real. It's, this massive piece of armor that goes on this costume, but I want to make it look like that and then play off of the absurdity of it or make it feel real. Like, it depends. Like, you can go either way with that one. But you gotta try building it first and look at other people who have built similar things to pull that inspiration from and start experimenting, essentially. A huge thing that I think gets lost with cosplay a lot, and this is actually in the art world in general, is that we think when we start something, it has to be the final version. And that's not true. Prototyping, creating mock-ups, testing it, finding a way to make that. I am a full belief that like you can make anything look the way that you want with enough messing around with materials and things. You'd be surprised at like the ingenuity that cosplayers have to create these absurd, armors or weapons or outfits from video games. And all it takes is iteration, practice, letting yourself screw it up and then try again. And to me, that's how you approach those, is like, what do you want to do with it, and do a couple iterations of it. Don't just start with the one version and be like, this is going to be it. And then when it fails, you're crushed. It's, this is the first iteration. I'm going to expect it to fail. And if it doesn't, great, I can move to the next step.
I think this is just going to be like my vibe in general. But like I work in IT. I tell, very, very rich people to turn things off and then back on again, right? I am in constant belief that I would be out of a job if more people were willing to fail. And I know like failure is kind of like a key aspect of your cosplay. Like you got to make that failure. You said a few weeks ago, the first step into being good in anything is sucking at it, right?
Yep. Thank you, Jake the dog.
Yeah. So like to have that concept of like, it's okay to fail, even when it's like, I have a vision. Yeah, it's disappointing. Yeah, it's daunting because you may have just spent a week working on one small section and now you got to undo everything or start over from scratch or throw the whole thing out because it's now ruined. Like that's still progress. You just now have experience. This is going to be a weird and wild comparison, but it's like one of those auto clicker games or auto games that like you don't actually need to do anything for, but one of the key mechanics is you start over and it wipes the board, right? You know the kind of game I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Like, most of the time,
Yeah.
these are like mobile games where it's like, congratulations, hero, you've now activated the time travel feature. And it takes you back to the beginning with a few extra bonuses, right?
Mhm.
But like, you now know how the game is played. You now know what the mechanics are, and you know what they're going to be asking of you. So you understand, and you can get to that same point just a little bit faster this time.
Mhm.
And yeah, it sucks that you got to start over from scratch sometimes, but you're not starting over with nothing. You're starting over with learned experience.
Yes, and failure it's not the end. It's just the process, and celebrating that process rather than the end result needs to be done more, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah, enjoy the journey, guys. Also, go play the video game Journey, but enjoy the journey.
Journey's a great game.
Oh, so
Journey
good.
was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's why Sky is so good.
What?
Drink.
It's been weeks, Vfire, weeks,
I did so
months
good.
even, all year. I haven't heard you mention Sky once all year.
I've been good.
Okay, so we talk about like kind of that realism because they make a model and they don't design clothes to be put like taken on and off. They design things to just fit on that model. So it's always kind of frustrating when you're like, okay, she's got this crown, but nothing is holding it, and it just kind of sits there. So how do I do that? We've talked about like key aspects that you may want in your skit or performance.
Mhm. Oh, also, it's okay if you don't look exactly like the model. Body positive here. Make the costume fit you,
Mhm.
and it will look good on you, rather than trying to force yourself into a mold.
Yeah.
That's an important thing to add.
That's very key. Like a lot of, again, these designers are not designing them after real human beings. One of my favorite games of the 2020s is Near Automata, and those are not human beings. They are legitimately not human beings. Those are androids. So their physique does not make any sense.
They are robots.
They are robots. Not to be confused with the robots, because those are different. And oh man, have you played Near Automata?
Not yet. It is on my list.
I beat it, and it legitimately gave me hope for the future. In 2020, it gave me hope for the future. Like,
I have you're going to be like, Mercedes, how dare you? I have read about the ending, and I think it is absolutely beautiful what they did.
I can't knock anybody for like, I didn't play the game. I just read about it, or I watched a tutorial or a playthrough or whatever, because like, I don't have that kind of time anymore. Like, you want me to spend $70 and 30 hours to see like a game that I may or may not enjoy? So like the new the Final Fantasy remastered collection, how they have like a little bit of caveats to like less random battles or higher XP, or small caveats like that. Just like, I don't have the time to sit and grind and farm and do all these things, So like,
Yeah.
I can't knock it for you. Like, yeah, I'll look this up. Oh wow, that was really cool. Like, sure.
It's also like I am such a nerd. I am going, like, it is on my list to play because I do want to experience it as well. But like, I study games like people study literature.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh man.
yeah, but also I will not knock people for needing to just look things up where they're like, I don't got time for this.
Yeah.
I've got a coworker actually who he's playing through Baldur's Gate 3, but he's looking up all of the different choices and stuff before he makes them, because he's only got time to really do one playthrough, and he wants it to be his playthrough.
I mean, to be fair, I kind of did the same thing with Divinity 2, the Larian Studios' last project. Because it was just kind of like, this is so daunting. There's so many things to do. Like, it was really, really cool. And at the same time, it's just like, it's too much. What am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I a good player?
You are a good player.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like video game themed cosplays, there is obviously a plethora of things, but my question is like, what if it's a game that like nobody's heard of? What if it is kind of like Journey or Sky, where yes, it has a lot of players, but it's not in the cultural zeitgeist like Grand Theft Auto or Halo or Call of Duty or Fortnite, right? Like, how do you like
So,
compartmentalize? That's the word I was going to say.
compartmentalize, yes. So before the PS4 version of Shadow of the Colossus came out, like nobody knew what it was. I was working on these cosplays and whatnot, and like I'd wear them to events, and no one would know what the heck I was wearing. And it actually led for me to have just really fun conversations on what the game was, why it was important to me, and encouraging others to give it a shot. Just try it. And I think that's the biggest thing about doing any obscure cosplay is just do it. It doesn't have to be popular for it to be good. There's a lot of, just stuff that you've never heard of, and it just allows for more people to come and love that thing that you enjoy. Yeah.
Or you could be a total gatekeeper about it and keep it to yourself and say, get good. Yeah.
Get good, scrubs.
Scrub. No, I think like when I did the Hollow Knight, somebody came up to me after the competition and was like, hey, I've never played Hollow Knight before, but like after seeing your and the other person's performance, I'm really interested in playing with it. Like, what kind of game is it? And so I got to like talk about the thing that I was really passionate about of just this game. It's literally etched into my skin now. I have a Hollow Knight tattoo.
It's so cool.
It is really cool. I love Sourtrout Inc.'s designs. Like he's a great designer. Utah local. Go seek out his stuff. He's really cool.
Might do that.
But he like it's one of those things where it's just like, I gotta caution you. This is the best thing ever. It might consume your life. It's really difficult, but like I this is why I love it so much, because it is rewarding and it is challenging, but the story's so full of heart and I love every bit of it. Yeah.
So much to obsess over.
Speaking of Metroidvanias, my friend Nate, he sent me a picture of a video game crossover art design of Castlevania Richter Belmont mixed with Mega Man.
Oh.
Let me send you the art, because like I might be tempted to do this. It also has Z or Zero and Alucard mixed together. And holy crap, is it super, super cool. I'm putting it in the main chat. Sorry, Panic, I don't mean to give you more of a migraine.
Panic, don't look at the chat.
Yeah, don't look at the chat.
Oh, those are sick.
Right? Like, it's a fun
so
little
cool.
crossover, and like nobody's asking for that. The only person who thought of this was clearly the person who drew this. But could you imagine just seeing like two of your favorite games of all time, the like key platformers of the genres, and it's just like two of your favorite things combined into one?
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's freaking so cool.
Yeah. Isn't it? So yeah, like, even if nobody is asking for it, like Vfire said, like, it's your chance to shine and share it with other people and preach the good word about what it is that you absolutely love. And maybe you're the resurgence to kick it off.
Absolutely. Yeah. Every time I was walking around in my Sky cosplay, people were like, what are you dressed as? And I'm like, oh, let me tell you about this game.
Did you get much recognition with the Hyper Light Drifter character that you did?
Not a lot. I also was like behind the scenes a lot while wearing that one. So I'm looking forward to wearing it again somewhere and seeing what kind of like reactions I get and not being in judging mode.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I got a lot of, your face is really blue. It was like, yes, it is.
No, unlike, yeah, like there are moments where you get to like talk about, oh yeah, I did blue because it's from one of my favorite games, Hyper Light Drifter. I love the art, I love the studio, everything they've done is super cool, stuff like that.
Have you seen the documentary on it?
I have not. I haven't even finished the game, to be honest.
Oh, that's okay. I haven't either. I told you, like, I accidentally completed my most hated area, those stupid birds.
Oh, yeah, the mountain pass. Yeah.
Yeah. I am at the boss battle for the crystal area and struggling hard, so
Uh-huh. That's fair.
yeah.
Yeah, you gotta find the Mantis Lords first. That's my priority to you.
I found them. I did. After
Mhm.
my students shamed me like crazy over it. And then I got my butt whooped immediately. So,
Yep.
but
That's
progress
fair.
was made.
Progress, again, failure is not failure as long as you're learning something from it.
Like, when you get into the crystal caverns and be like, yeah, nope, and walk back out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that too.
I had one of those moments when I was playing The Last Faith. I walked into a new area that I'd never been in before, and something immediately tried to shoot me, so I just turned around and walked back before it had a chance. It's like, no, thank you. I'll come back to you later. That's fine. That's fine.
Nope.
Okay.
I love that. Okay.
Talked a little bit about competition and skits, and a little bit about design, what it means to kind of make it your own. Anything else about video game based cosplays?
They're fun. They're fun. If you haven't done it, try it.
Yeah, legitimately, they are a lot of fun because you get to break rules because they break rules making the game. So why don't you get to break a few rules with the cosplay game?
Yeah, use some practical magic and make something look like it, is floating, or
Yeah.
lightweight when it's actually hundreds of thousands of pounds, or
I love video games. I love video games so much.
so
Okay.
fun.
So now is the part of the story where we talk about our
horror stories. Spooky, spooky, spooky.
I do a little dance now whenever I hear that.
every time too. Every time I gotta sing along. I got it's the whole 9 yards. So on the Discord server from Oz Costumes, previous guest of the show, I think she submitted this shortly before she was actually it must have been after she was a guest on the show. So this was submitted in November of 2016, or November 16th of 2023.
I was like, dang, how did that happen?
And they write, after listening to the newest episode, I remembered a glomping horror story that happened to me.
Glomping.
I'm sure many of us have those.
For those who don't know what glomping is, really quick.
Glomping is when somebody runs up to you and basically throws themselves onto you in a very kind of like attack hug kind of vibe, non-consensually, and when you're oftentimes wearing the biggest of cosplays because that's something that they've resonated with to kind of an unhealthy degree.
Yep. It's not socially acceptable to do that, so.
So, glomping, a horror story that happened to me. I'm sure many of us have those. But then Panna mentioned caramel dancing. That prompted me to write about this experience instead. It's a happy story, so please enjoy the palate cleanser. During my first year of returning to cons after a very long hiatus, grad school followed by the global panini, I went to Anime Bonsai for the first time in 2021. It was such a wholesome experience. One of the moments that stands out to me the most to this day is walking outside to a bunch of cosplayers dancing to Caramel Dancin'. It's the attached video. I got such a nostalgic whiplash, and it made me so happy to see everyone having so much fun together. In fact, the whole con brought back memories because I'm pretty sure I heard someone yell, "I lost the game!" And then I
Dang it!
And then I saw cosplayers dressed as Light and L handcuffed to each other, which was, what, 2010? Or excuse me, what was this? 2010?
This is time traveling.
The con was also the first time I competed in quite a while, and even though social anxiety was causing me to experience tunnel vision, it was a lot easier to handle because of how wonderful, supportive, and nice everyone was in the green room and post-competition. Someone even had offered to help me brush my long wig before leaving to go on stage. And even though it was a simple gesture, it meant a lot. I still fondly reminisce about this particular Anime Bonsai day. Absolutely adorable.
That's so sweet.
Right?
I love that. That is such a time travel blast from the past kind of feel too. I love that.
Well, and like, yeah, what is this, 2010? Like, are we not to say like to talk down to our past selves, as long as we have again learned from our past. Like, what is this? 2010? Like, what are we doing here, huh? And like, it's so cool to see kind of those past moments come back and be updated or appreciated for things that we're doing nowadays.
Oh, nostalgia. Ah.
So good. Okay. Anything else?
If you want to share your stories with us, you can email us at cosplaystitchandseam.com or go to the website, cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com, or go to the website cosplaystitchandseam.com, or
go to the Facebook page. And today only, you must sign all of your emails, posts, or anything along those lines as Vfire. Today only. Okay?
I'm so curious as to what we will get.
It's so stupid. Like, legitimately, why am I so entertained by this thing?
I know, right?
Okay. So while you're on the internet, and you are being your best Vfire, and you want to help out the show, there are many different ways to do that. Share the
best Vfire.
Being your best Vfire. Come on. While you're share the podcast with a friend, leave us a rating, a review. Those help the algorithms. It really it just kind of spreads the podcast around a little bit more. And of course, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/cosplaystitch. Some of the amazing people that we need to thank are Vfire, 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 and Vfire.
I'm gonna have an asthma attack.
But in reality, the people that we need to thank are Misty Lee, Jack S, Cynthia Eve Cosplay, Starfetcher, Trophcos, Lydia, Yggdrasil, Dr. Steggy, Cynics, Hot Riku, Jazzy Kofed, Jaguar Quinn, Gloria Shu, and Silver Deeds.
Oh, thank you, David. I needed that laugh.
You know, it's what I'm here for.
How's thanks to Macy Roberts for music and David for editing. David, how's your shows going?
They are going so stinking great. At the time of this episode being recorded, one of my favorite episodes is coming out. It is with Candace McAfee, who they did a fantastic job in their role in The Last Voice. I was so shocked by what they were able to do with the scripting. Legitimately, I loved every bit of it, and the character that she brought to life is absolutely top-notch. So please go check out The Last Voice, and also make sure you're paying attention to the notes and going and giving love to Candace, because they knocked it out of the park. Same with everybody on that show, except for whoever that David Jeffress guy is. You can go suck an egg for all I care. Ethically, I can.
Hey, you have to say nice things in my name, okay? If you're going to be Vfire, you have to say nice things about David.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. That David Jeffers guy, Faye's all right. And of course, Comic Trades Monthly. If you enjoy comic books and you enjoy talking about the themes and the morals that you can kind of take out of those, go check that out. It's me and my best friend Dane, and we talk about them and just kind of like have a good laugh about it while taking it a little bit more seriously than I feel like some folks do.
Which is good.
Which is good. So why was the gamer's computer cold?
Why?
It had too many windows open.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh. That reminded me of one.
Uh-huh.
If Apple made a car, would it have windows?
Okay, that was a good one. Bye, guys. Hey, David again. Two things. One, I love you. Two, This is episode 189, I believe. We are still planning on doing our 200th anniversary special, so make sure you got your eyes glued on all our socials. We'll be posting that when we get closer to an actual date. And also, the game that I have made, Stitches in Time, or Make Us Guess Your Cosplay, is still a thing. Again, it's just a game that takes all three of us, or at least 3 people to play, 1 to host and 2 to participate. So we have not forgotten about those things. Those things are still going to happen. We're just, it's hard to do with only 2 of us sometimes. All right. Thanks again. Bye, guys. Love you. Take care of yourselves.